We've seen a blame game here on both sides. I mean, Mick Mulvaney, White House budget director, saying this is the Schumer shutdown here. But the bottom line is if the government does shut down tonight because of a Democratic-led filibuster, how can that be the Republicans' fault?
Well, it's quite simple. A shutdown tonight would be absolutely unprecedented in the history of this country. Never have we had a situation where one party controlled the presidency, they controlled the House, and they controlled the Senate, and you had a government shutdown. The Republicans control everything, and they can't shoot straight. They can't get 50 votes in the Senate. This isn't about 60 votes. They don't have 50 votes for a budget. And so that's the problem. And what we need to do is address it now, because this isn't simply about dreamers. This is about people suffering from opioid addiction who need treatment. This is about helping our veterans. This is about disaster relief for people in Texas, Florida, Puerto Rico, and elsewhere. And his own Defense Department has said you can't govern 1 week at a time. And so this is on the Republicans, plainly and simply. And frankly, if you look back at May the 2nd of last year, Donald Trump tweeted a government shutdown would be a good thing. I think it's a terrible thing. But as he said in 2013 or 2014 about President Obama, the president owns any shutdown that would occur. Well, you own it, Mr. President, and you have control. And it got blown up because he blew up the bipartisan deal that existed before. And so this one's on them.
Yeah, I just want to bring you some headlines here. Republican Senator Lamar Alexander says Congress is close to a deal on major issues, or close to resolving 5 major issues that could pave the way, Joe, for a government funding deal. Top leaders will be meeting this afternoon.
So maybe some progress. We'll be watching those headlines. Chairman Perez, why not get the child health insurance program issue off the table? As you said, there's a lot of different things that need to be addressed. You mentioned opioid funding, defense spending, DACA obviously being the big one. There is an opportunity with this 1-month punt to at least take care of CHIP and have that funded for 6 more years. Why not take that and then move on to another fight?
You know what? The time for kicking the can down the road is over, and that it is absolutely unconscionable that the Children's Health Insurance Program is part of the hostage taking from the Republicans. What we have to do is deal with everything right now, and part of the challenge for Democrats is that this president has been so untrustworthy. We have a meeting at the White House, and there's a bipartisan deal, and then it breaks down a day later or hours later. And so it's hard to sit here and say, oh, we'll trust you to do something when there's no track record of delivering on those promises. And frankly, with every day that passes, there are more people who are suffering from opioid addiction who are wondering if that funding is going to dry up for the treatment. There are more dreamers that are in danger. And so we need to deal with this now. They dealt with a massive tax bill to help large corporations and very wealthy people, and they did that in short order.
Right.
You can address this in short order as well.
Well, but with dreamers, though, I want to ask about the urgency, because why are Democrats linking, I should say, DACA to keeping the government open when, as of today, DACA is in effect through a judicial injunction and accepting applications for 2-year work permit renewals? Why make that connection?
Well, you know what? Every single day we have that, but we don't know what the court system will end up doing. And every day we have other dreamers who are living their lives in fear. And by the way, these are our first responders. These are soldiers in the military. These are our school teachers. These are our healthcare professionals. That's no way to say thank you to people who are adding so much to our communities. And so we need a Clean Dream Act. And by the way, there's a bipartisan bill. The overwhelming number of American people support this. And this has been held up because the far right of the Republican Party will not allow a straight up and down vote. I have no doubt that if you had a straight up or down vote on a Clean Dream Act right now in the House and Senate, it would pass. But Paul Ryan is so petrified of his far right base, and Mitch McConnell the same, that they won't allow that to happen. That's unconscionable. That's not leadership.
So can I just say, though, that
to go back to the points that actually we've been making, all three of us here, is that ultimately none of these things need agreeing now in order to prevent a shutdown. We could stop playing politics here, and admittedly, DACA does give you leverage here to hold out. These things could still be negotiated over the next month, but actually it's easier to play with the leverage here, ultimately, and push for some kind of shutdown. As much as you said the president wants a shutdown here, you guys are pushing for it too because you think it hurts him more.
No, you know what? I want the difference between Democrats and Republicans in so many examples is that we actually believe that government can do good things for people. We don't think that government is the enemy. Government can be the catalyst for so many good things. Donald Trump said back in May, you know, a government shutdown would be a good thing. I couldn't disagree more with that. But what we have right now is a situation where Republicans control the House, they control the Senate, they control the White House, and they can't come together. Again, there aren't 50 votes in the United States Senate for the bill that passed the United States House. And so this one is on them, and we can't continue to kick the can down the road. That's chronic incompetence. And that's why this is so remarkable to me that you control the presidency and both houses of Congress and you still can't pass a budget. And it suggests to me that you like having a shutdown. That's really unfortunate for all the people who are living a life of uncertainty right now.
Tom, very quickly, yes or no, do you think there will be a shutdown tonight?
Well, I hope not. But that's entirely up to the Republican leadership.